All right, legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin, because this zone needs to hold, guys. The importance of this area between $113,000 and $115,000 needs to hold if we are going to continue the bullish momentum. There are some risks here that were explained in yesterday's video update, okay? Let's analyze the situation here all together. Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button, guys. If you do enjoy the content, it's much appreciated, okay? To smash up that like button. We are just about 120 subscribers away to hit 100K, guys. So let's get those subscribers joining in. I hope you did enjoy yesterday's video update, guys, because we went very, very technical, very specific on a few scenarios that could happen. And now we have new information, right? We did get a drop. The pullback that we had throughout the weekend was very shallow and the price just took the dump, all right? So there is definitely a chance of the price of Bitcoin bouncing in this zone, okay? There is without a doubt a chance, and it's a must if we are going to maintain bullish market structure. Yesterday, we were talking about the risk of maybe a local top being in for Bitcoin. And what I mean by a local top is that we could correct down to the low 100K levels in the next coming weeks if we lose 112K and do not get a reaction here. Now, why 112K is my ultimate level? If it doesn't hold on, if it does hold where we are at the moment, which is literally the last level to flip bullish market structure, claim $118,000 lower high from the weekend, that would be a major bullish confirmation and confirming that this movement down has been a three-wave corrective structure. But it's too soon. There are some risks here in longing right now. So if I do have a confirmation level, would I rather wait for the confirmation to be hit and then look for aggressive long positions to take out all-time high? Or would I randomly believe, okay, that this area is going to hold as support? And hear me out here. I am very much aware of the price moving to lower levels. Does that mean I want to short here? Absolutely not. I missed the short position, guys, from all-time high double top swing failure pattern. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was very much aware. We did talk about this on a few streams when we were trading here last week, just almost hitting all-time high, that a successful breakout to go to much higher levels was highly unlikely. I was very much aware of the price failing to get continuation to the upside. And if you did pay attention and you were in the live stream, you understood that that was a high chance based on the explanation. Why was that a high chance that we were not going to break out successfully? You might think, why didn't you short? Why didn't you put limit short position before going to bed, right? Well, it's not my style of trading. I would prefer being in front of the chart, getting the alerts, analyze the situation. But this happened early morning, okay? So when we do analyze the situation of this movement up, the most bullish case scenario was a multiple 1-2 setup. You form 3 1-2s and then you break out in a third wave. The main reason that there was low probability for this is because your third wave was the longest wave. And in a multiple 1-2, you want your second wave 1 and 2 to be smaller in price action and timing before getting the third wave up, right? You don't want the third wave being the longest one. So that brings you a few scenarios that could have happened here. Then we'll analyze this scenario, guys. No worries. There's time. But basically, what we were looking at here is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you're looking at is an ABC flat. This was too fast to be a fourth wave, okay? To be a wave 2, sorry. And then blast off in a third wave. So you're looking for an ABC flat potentially. Or you're looking for a double zigzag. Zigzag up, correction. And another zigzag to the upside. Then obviously you're looking for a pullback. other scenario was 1, 2, and inside of this range, you do have a 5-wave move up to form your third wave. This is your fourth and this is your fifth. You're also expecting a correction. So all of the scenarios based on the price action that we had here pointed out that if we take out all-time high, it's not going to have the power to break out. Okay, so whoever shorted that swing failure pattern, absolutely awesome, guys. I think it's one of those short trades. We mentioned this a few days ago. I would maintain some of that short open. Obviously, take some profits as we had a major move of almost $10,000 to the downside since all-time high. You know, I would keep some of that trade open without a doubt, because there is the risk that we have finished the momentum to the upside since the low of April, guys. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's possible, and we are just about to confirm that possibility if we were to lose 112K. I mean, I'm running out of bullish case scenarios here. I've been very bullish for the last few weeks, managed to profit massively from that trade, started in July, ending in August, of course, managing to lock in $100,000. Imagine not taking profit at all-time high, which was the ultimate target zone, and holding all the way down this position. It would have been devastating, right? Not banking on that 100K. But luckily, we had a plan, hit all-time high. That's where we take profit regardless, right? So let's analyze. You know, I'm in no short position. You missed the short, okay? I am aware of going lower, but would I want to enter a short here? No. The main reason I didn't short also throughout the weekend is because it's a very shallow pullback. Okay, there is some good news to this, guys. And if the price, I will explain some scenarios that will confirm the bullishness. Okay, and I will should be showing that trade throughout the next coming weeks if it is going to play out bullish. I missed the short, not interested in shorting down here, even though we could collapse down. Okay, we could collapse down, guys. I would have to just happily say I did not short the market. I missed the short. Okay, so I will let you know the confirmation, guys, what I'm waiting for here on the stream. We are still uptrending. You know, I missed the short position. You know, this is no zone for me to enter a short. Very shallow pullback from the drop of all-time high. It is what it is, right? We can't trade everything. This would have been an interesting short that I would have, you know, liked to have entered on this swing failure pattern without a doubt. At least to claim these lows based on an ABC flat, or a, you know, if this is a 5-wave, you're literally looking for a larger correction from this area. But I am here not to say we missed the short, oh, what's next? Yeah, I'm here to explain where is the next opportunity, guys. You know, it's a trade that I will be showing throughout the live streams. It's a trade that I'll be getting ready with the community in the Telegram, because I'm looking for swing trades mainly at the moment. Okay, which will be explained in this live stream. So make sure to stay tuned, guys. We got some levels, some scenarios. It's interesting. The bulls need to hold here. They need to hold this 112, 114, 115K. I'll explain why. And the major risk of this being the end of a contracting diagonal since the rally that we had in April is there. I don't want to get people scared. I want people to manage risk, because this is the classic zone where bulls are just going to remain bullish. They just want to long, you know, every single pullback in a bull run. And there are some risks here. I was very bullish a few weeks ago, guys. Very, very bullish in this range. Confidently waiting for all-time high. This is why I got the $100,000 profit. You know, I was confident in this high probability movement. Right now, I need some information. This is, you know, I've got no new trades for the last few days since we hit all-time high. There's no new trades. So trading, it's all about planning a high probability trade, and the profits that you make, you want to conserve that, right? You don't want to lose. You don't want to give it back to the market, right? Which is what happens to a lot of the people. So I'll be explaining a little bit in detail. You know, there is some risk here. The major rally that we started from April, hitting all-time high, the corrective move in a 3-wave structure, we're counting this as a double zigzag potential, 3-wave structure up, in your third wave, 3-wave down. This is where we were very, very bullish. And then a possible double zigzag to the upside here that we formed in August to take our all-time high. You know, there is the risk. Technically, it is possible that a local top could be in here, guys. It is technically possible. Now, for all of the bulls, such as myself, right, with the wishful thinking, is like, it would be nice to form, come on, a little bit better of a 3-wave structure to the upside here and hit those highs. However, in a contracting diagonal, your previous waves are shorter in time, right? Your waves that come after the first one are shorter in time. Your wave 2 is shorter in time than your wave 1. Your wave 3, same. Wave 4, shorter than 3. Wave 5, shorter than 4. It's contracting. The waves are getting smaller. The local top, you know, without a doubt has the potential of being in, guys. Okay. And if this were to be the case, it's only looking for a pullback in the next coming weeks that has the potential to go below 100K. I would be extremely interested in getting into an epic swing long position depending on how the price action develops once we get that movement down, guys. You know, I don't want to rush into shorts. We could still bounce as support, and this is why I want to explain the bullish case scenario. But just to be aware, I don't want to get people scared. If you are confident that we're going to bounce, then go ahead. You know, if you have a trading plan, this is the zone that needs to bounce. Why is this the zone that needs to bounce? Well, basically, if you have the movement to the upside here in your third wave, 3-wave structure, a 3-wave structure to the downside, and you would want to believe that this is your first wave to the upside, and this is your second wave, and you're still lagging from a third wave to happen, right? This is the area that needs to bounce. 7/8 Fibonacci, which is literally where we've been just slightly touching. It might get a bit of volatility to the downside and then recover. This is really speculating and hoping that the price does bounce. Now, I don't trade based on hope. I trade based on extreme high probability setups, mainly on Bitcoin. So let's just break that down. Let's just break it down and explain, because if the price is going to be bullish, no matter if you did not catch the low, you can enter another long somewhere else, guys, once we get the sign of strength, because the probabilities in taking all-time high will be very, very likely, and you will be in a high probability trade in your favor. So let's just go to the lower time frames and break that down, guys. It is extremely easy to understand. Extremely easy. I just need your full attention so you realize that the bulls are stepping in and that they have priority, and that this 3-wave move to the downside, because it's a 3-wave move now till proven otherwise. Is this a third wave? I don't know. If it is going to be a 1-2 and now you have another 1-2 and then you break down in the third wave, I don't know. I do not know, guys. I do not know. So what I do know is that we have a 3-wave move for the moment here. For the moment, it's a 3-wave move. When will it not be a 3-wave impulsive move to the downside, potentially following up with a 4-5, right, situation? Once the price reclaims the last lower high, that will be a confirmation that this will be a 3-wave structure. And what we're looking here to follow up is a rally to hit new all-time high. The moment you hit the lower highs of the weekend gives you high probability that we are forming that very much weighted 3-wave move to the upside. Okay? And we will get our first wave that is confirming the direction. It is a very, very simple and effective way of trading, guys. Very, very simple and very, very easy. Okay. It's a similar scenario from, we understood that all of this was looking corrective, guys. You know, there's so many scenarios that we could have piled up here. Sideways WXY, lots of overlap. We are not considering this a wave 2, guys. It's a wave B or a wave X. No matter how low you go from this pivot, you're not looking for a successful breakdown here. That was explained. That was the main reason of the swing long from the last few weeks. So what we did get here was our first major bounce. And we understood that this was corrective as soon as we got these little bounces here. This is your golden ticket. So claiming these lower highs and then looking for that corrective move will be the same scenario. Golden ticket. Preferably even you get some rallies here, because then you know that this third wave is not, you know, getting developed, right? On that correction, you will confirm that correction once that third wave does not go down and you reclaim that, you know, you basically overlap those lows. It's the same explanation as this. This is how the chart moves. So without a doubt, if you have a big wave to the upside here, you got a 3-wave move down. This first leg up will be your first wave 1, and this would be your next wave 2 to get follow through in the next waves 3, 4, and 5, which is literally what happened here. And this was the confidence that I had that we're likely going to take out at least this high. And then, you know, if we do maintain above it, we're looking for the next waves up with the potential of hitting all-time high. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a tricky area here for sure, okay? It is a bit tricky because, you know, when we zoom out, it's important to zoom out and understand where we're at, okay? This is not the same. I don't have the same high conviction from a few weeks ago that we're going to bounce from here than from here. And that is because there is the possibility of a completed 5-wave structure just because we did take out the highs last week. And yeah, obviously this pullback is, you know, it's a dangerous zone to believe that it's going to bounce. Very, very dangerous. This is the area where many will get wrecked because, you know, a drop can be powerful here. The drop can be powerful, okay? So I don't want to be part of the market if I'm looking for longs in this area when I do have a very, very clear confirmation, which is basically hitting the lower highs of the weekend. You know, if price does manage to bounce, you know, between today and tomorrow at this zone, it is going to be very, very clear for me that the probabilities remain that this is actually going to manage to form that 3-wave move to the upside, very similar to the 3-wave move that we got here in the third wave. However, this one's been a little bit punchy, right? So coming up to this zone will confirm that this 3-wave move has been corrective. You're losing the last lower high. You're losing the last lower high of this downtrend structure, right? So I want to keep it simple. No RSI, no levels, no monthly, no point of control, no money flow, no nothing, guys. Pure market structure and where the levels need to be hit to understand the sign of strength. You know, it just, you know, you want to try and simplify your trading instead of using so many indicators, guys, because market structure and understanding, you know, what levels need to be hit to for the price to be in your favor, right, on that directional bias. And I want to really, really make trading and analysis simple to find those high probability trades, right? So what other scenarios are there, right? What other scenarios? I mean, this zone has been a little bit interesting throughout the weekend. I mean, there is the potential of this being an impulse. This being a kind of an ABC flat in this area or even a running flat, even though this C wave was very, very choppy. This does look very, very corrective, if I'm honest with you here. Or a triangle is possible also. Running triangle, A, B, C, D, E, and then the movement down. Obviously, if it is a triangle, triangles are not available for wave 2s. It's not possible. Triangles can only appear in B waves, in wave 4s, in wave X's, you know, other corrective structures, but not in wave 2s. So if this were to be a triangle, which is very much possible, you form the lower high right there, a few higher lows, running triangle, A, B, C, D, and E, a slight lower high right there. It could very much be a B wave. If this is your A wave, B wave, you're looking for a C wave here. If it were to be a triangle, right? Where will we confirm that it is a triangle? I mean, for all of those beasts out there that want to speculate on a higher low, this has to be the area. The 114K, 115K area is the zone that needs to bounce. So if you want to be a bottom catcher and have smelly fingers, you know, this is your bottom catching scenario. You know, we talked about the 7/8 Fibonacci that could have got a bounce on a stream a few weeks ago, which was this one right over here, right? Will the 7/8 bounce here and then, or wait for a confirmation, right? Well, this is the same scenario. Same scenario. Well, not the same, slightly different, but very, very similar. Where this lower time frame, wave 1 and 2, you got the 7/8 Fibonacci that bounced, and then you got bullish market structure developing. That's when we were confident in the Legends Pro, putting a video here for a 112 to get the breakout and claim the local highs. Right now, where we at on this higher time frame, potential impulsive move to the upside, is sitting at the 7/8 Fibonacci. So yeah, I mean, we just barely touched it today. This is the area that needs to bounce. Same scenario, but on the higher degree, higher time frame, right? Move up, possible 5-wave structure, 7/8 bounce, bullish market structure, boom, 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 we continue up. Bottom catchers, here's your chance. If you bounce from here, what we would want to see, as explained, is a nice little impulsive move, preferably to take out or almost take out the lower high from the weekend here. And that would be an absolutely banging confirmation. I would even be happy to long, you know, at the highs here and put stop loss at the low here, even, guys. You know, I would be obviously waiting for a retracement to go in heavy, but we don't know how that retracement is going to develop. But this would be obviously a big major confirmation that this movement down from all-time high is a 1, 2, and 3. 3-wave structure, you always label it as a correction. So yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, it cannot be more simple than this, guys. If you want to feel aggressive, understanding the bearish case scenario, the 7/8, if you want to try and catch the bottom, you know, this 7/8 Fibonacci is the level, just like here. This time, though, we have a potential wave 5 being in, which is, you know, it brings respect when taking decisions, right? I have respect right now to catch the low. I'm not interested in catching the low, guys, if I don't have high probability or it's a very good confluence level. So yeah, I would rather wait, because I'm aware that the price could bounce and break down, and this is a 112. You could possibly fit in a flat here. Very, very shallow flat, guys. I mean, this is very, very shallow for a pullback, I have to say. But it's not impossible, especially in a downtrend. When the market wants to tank, it's more aggressive to the downside, right? If I prefer a shallow wave 2, I prefer it in a downtrend, because downtrends are usually, they can get very aggressive and you get very, very shallow pullbacks. So yeah, a possible ABC flat here is without a doubt a possibility. Then you have your wave 1, 2, maybe another 1, 2, right? And then you get the breakdown 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. You get the correction, and then you just go to lower levels. It's just something to be aware of. When will the downtrend structure be confirmed that it's over? That is taking the last lower high here to invalidate the power of a potential third wave. You hit this level, the bears had their chance here. The bears had their chance throughout early this morning. If you don't get follow through after this bounce, form a lower high and continue down, and you take out this high, the probabilities increase drastically, because you will be confirming a 3-wave structure here. Once you take out these lower highs, it's just simple, basic market structure, which sometimes is the best, right? Sometimes it is the best. So I want to talk about Ethereum. I want to talk about some scenarios. So eventually, guys, where I will be interested heavily is once we claim that lower high at 118.5K from the weekend. I would be very, very confident, very, very confident, guys, that we're looking for a 3-wave move in the end here. We'll be looking for that 3-wave move, and participating in the trade in this area, it's only $1,500, $2,000 higher than the low. I always say you have the option to enter with a small position, guys. If you want to try and catch the bottom or catch the highs, you can enter with 0.5% of capital. Enter with a smaller amount, and once you get the sign of strength, you can add to that position eventually, right? Let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. I did not say hello to the beautiful community, guys, today. And Musa Gukhar, Elliot Wave 5. Yes, sir, my man. Oh my God, what is happening, Andy? It's all over. Not to worry about. Not to worry about. We still very much, I think the bulls are going to do their best here. They're going to try and do their best to reclaim the lower highs of the weekend. I think they're going to do their best. Okay. Let's see. Keeping it simple, keeping it easy for the viewer. Legends. High probability trade. I want high probability trading setups, guys. And especially for the community. All right. I don't want to just say long, short this breakout of the trend. We want to see confirmation. Let's go. Mark Dutch here in the live stream. The absolute legend of moderators is here. Afternoon, Andy Pandy. Eye candy. Much love, 𝗬𝗫cie. Just here to kiss your like button. Can't stay, unfortunately. Much love to you, brother. Thanks for joining. Just to smash up the like. Snowboarding World. Thanks for the stream, Andy. You're very much welcome. Somebody said also, thanks for your warning yesterday, my bro. Maku, you're very welcome. Just, yeah, not an easy zone. Not an easy zone once we got that 5-wave move to the upside here, legends, okay? You did take out all-time high, and that automatically creates a 5-wave move up, right? You get the deal, guys. You get the deal, right? You know what happens, right, when you form a 5-wave move to the upside, right? We can go from the bear market lows here, right? And you can go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did take out the highs here, but you eventually did not get continuation to the upside. The pullbacks were aggressive. ABC flat here. Anybody that thinks the Elliott wave theory is a scam, it is the way to analyze the projections of the market, guys. It is not a good tool. It's not good knowledge. It is the way to analyze the markets, guys. So let's continue here through the comment section. We don't see you, Andy. I am here. I think this is, I'm very much live, I think, and you can see me. We were truly blessed with those 30% gains from June lows for our alt season, says Redemption. Yes, we were. Yes, we were. Mock Insight, always when rate cut is going down. Yeah, this is the thing. A lot of people, I want to just discuss the rate cut situation, guys. 𝗬𝗍𝘆, my man, 𝗬𝗍𝘆 did provide a great scalp setup in the Legends Telegram, okay? Which was literally beautiful scalp, by the way, okay? Lower time frame scenario, right? On Ethereum, we did have something very similar also happening, okay? Even better on Ethereum, right? Because these are nice little movements that you can get into without a doubt, right? When you take a look at Ethereum's market structure, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. So higher low, trend line, breakout, claim the highs. This is your trade, right? When we consider, you know, just market structure, you can see the flip, right? You can see the diamond pattern in this area, right? The reversal diamond pattern, diamond bottom. And it's just a break of structure. This movement up that took out the last lower high, and you're chopping here, this is the zone that you're interested in, a trend line break, golden pocket to the 7-8 from pivot low, pivot high, and you're targeting the last lower high. Shout out to 𝗬𝗍𝘆 that did provide this not only for Ethereum but for Bitcoin in the Legends Pro community. Absolute legend right away here with 𝗬𝗍𝘆. There he is, sharing the profit, sharing that scenario exactly here in the Legends Pro community, okay? Legend, absolute beast here. 𝗬𝗍𝘆 providing the different scenarios on how the price, look at that, just on the spot. Anybody that is wants scalping ideas, okay, well, 𝗬𝗍𝘆 is definitely the man that is looking at the lower time frame and understanding the structure. You got the Legends Pro community, guys, to join, and that's the first link down below. You will joining the Telegram, okay, and from there you can send me a DM. We can hop you inside of the Legends Pro or the Signals channel in Telegram. That's where mainly I'm looking for my Bitcoin, Ethereum, bigger positions, bigger swings that could take a couple of weeks to play out eventually, right? So yeah, very nice indeed, 𝗬𝗍𝘆. Shout out to you, brother. Very, very good trade setup. Very, very technical. Very, for us, when we are really focused on scalping and lower time frames, this was like a confirmation, nice breakout here of the local trend, which gives you high probability for a higher low, especially when you're moving down like this. Very, very corrective. Trend breakout to at least claim the highs. Nice little movement on Ethereum of, 1.5%. Hey, if you're using a 50x, then, you can make some pretty good profits on that nice little move up. Shout out to you, 𝗬𝗍𝘆, by the way. Absolute legend. Have you checked Link, bro? It has a shallow pullback. Please also share your analysis. Thanks. Yeah, we can take a look at Chainlink later on, without a doubt. If you are here, wave your hand, Andy. Much love, brother. I am here. Can anyone say why Link is going against the trend? Yeah, I think Chainlink has been the best performer throughout the altcoins, right? It's one of those altcoins that is managing to hold pretty damn nicely. Yeah, Chainlink is doing pretty damn good. Yeah, I think what Chainlink is developing here is just a multiple 1-2 setup. It is, it's bullish. We understood that this movement up is bullish. This is corrective. This is also bullish. Nice 5-wave structure, very corrective structure. You're just looking for a 3rd wave blast off on Chainlink here mainly. You've got a possible wave 1 and 2, another wave 1 and 2. It's just building up that third wave here, right? It's just really in that momentum. I will start selling some of my Chainlink guys above $30. My spot Chainlink that I've been waiting for years, guys, years. Thousands of Chainlink I've got in, in my portfolio that are just sitting there, and I'm ready to take profits. I'll be leaving a moonbag eventually to all-time high, but Chainlink is the most steady for me, as well as XLM. They are my alts, says Karim, absolute legend. Hi, mate. Hope you're doing well. Love your content, mate. Can you check useless USDT? Useless USDT. What is that? Useless. Useless USDT. Are you serious? That's interesting. Useless coin. I have no idea what this is, but it's had a nice little rally. It seemed like it launched a few months ago. Let's pull it on the chart. What's the ticker symbol? Useless. Why not? Right, relatively new, very strong major uptrend here. Relatively new coin, getting a nice little bounce here. Just at the point of control of this entire range since July and August. Yeah, would be a little bit skeptical here. Very, very skeptical, because if you are having a very, very strong uptrend and you break the last higher low and then you get a bounce, not the best, if I'm honest with you here. There is a chance of forming a lower high in this zone purely based on the break of structure of the last few weeks here. It is at point of control, yes. Very, very choppy and overlappy price action here on the bounce. Yeah, I would be cautious on this one. There is the risk of coming back down to the lows here. And the simple reason is you broke the very bullish market structure of the last few months with that leg down, which, eventually you get that automatic rally. This doesn't look that great. I think the lows here below 20 cents can be claimed. Anyway, let's go right away. Bitcoin. We've got a few more scenarios on Bitcoin. Okay. We've got a super chat here from someone. Much love to you, Botmation. Thank you. You're very welcome, my man. Very, very much welcome. Just keeping it simple. Much love. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Useless can't be useful, says Alice King. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the show. How is Ethan? Ethereum, right? All right, let's take a look here at Suzanne. Much love to you. Thanks for joining the stream. Always hopping in. Pac-Man, much love to you, brother. Let's take a look here at the scenarios on Bitcoin, guys. I know it might seem boring, but it is the way. It is definitely the way. As explained, there is a possibility that we have a double zigzag up here, okay? So it becomes very, very risky. Very, very risky, unless you're scalping like my man 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍, okay? Unless you're getting into little scalps here. I am preferably looking for bigger swings. It becomes a dangerous area. It definitely becomes a dangerous area here. Now, this can be counted as a 5-wave move up, okay? Instead of this ABC idea that we had, right, where you get a larger bounce, then a movement down to claim the lows of the weekend, well, you've had a very shallow pullback, right? So now the main idea is we put this here and we put this right over here. the C wave right over here, right? That's the main idea of this scenario. If this is going to be a bullish impulsive move, we want a 3-wave structure. Now, why does it become risky to speculate on the 7/8 Fibonacci, which is your ultimate level, right? To get the bounce. 7/8, 0.88, preferably not touched. Yeah, I mean, the main reason there's risk here to get into a long on the 7/8 is because this movement to the upside can be countered as a double zigzag. Okay, we've been discussing this, throughout the last few weeks, last week basically, where you have an ABC movement up, 3-wave zigzag up, a corrective sideways structure, and then from here you have another zigzag move to the upside. Now, why is this dangerous to go to lower prices? Well, it's basically the explanation that we did on yesterday's video update. If you have a double zigzag, it is a 3-wave structure that can ultimately have the 5th wave finished here. So the main question right now is the high in for a larger correction in the next 1 to 2 weeks? Or are we going to form a higher low here? And this movement to the upside, okay? Let me just put this on the folder. Has been a 5-wave impulse, right? So now the main question, is this a double zigzag and the 5th wave is in? We get a larger pullback. We form a lower high at 116, 117K. It doesn't really matter as long as you don't hit the lower highs of the weekend at 118.5K. We form the impulsive move up, which is this one. And we still haven't developed the 3rd wave up. Right? Because we are looking for a 3-wave move to the upside here. As explained, everything will be clearer once you hit the last lower high. I will go in big, guys, in this long position. I will go in relatively big. Because it would be the ultimate confirmation level. Because if this has to be a wave 1, and this is an A wave, and this is your B wave, and this is a C wave, that's a flat. Well, the flat has extreme low probability. And I'll explain why right away. Because you might think, hey, what if we do claim the highs of the weekend and we form a swing failure pattern and then we break down? That would be extreme low probability. And the main reason why to fit in a flat in this zone, right, if we are speculating that you would be forming that flat, the flat targets hit the 1236 to the 1382 extension of your A wave. So, if this were to be the low and this is your A wave, I mean, it crossed 2 times longer, right? It's just, it's double the extension from your wave A. So if you think it's a flat ABC, the B wave is twice the length of the A wave, which eventually extremely decreases the probability, like almost impossible. Let's leave it that way, if you wish. So that would be the only possibility for the bears if this 3-wave move down claims the high, that you need to fit some kind of an ABC flat and then a 3rd wave down, which would be extremely low probability because the B wave is twice the length of the A wave. And what you want to see is the 1236, 1382 extension max for the B wave, once you start getting crossing the 1.61 extension, the probabilities, decrease significantly for this scenario. So it would be the only bearish case which has a low probability if you do hit 118.5k, which will automatically, zooming out, give you the highest probability for this scenario to play out, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zigzag move down, right? Sweep up your wave 2 potential here, right? Which is what you do not want to see to be hit for the bears. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of waiting for, it's something similar. Let's just explain here this 3-wave move to the downside, where you have, this movement down, this bounce, and then the movement down taking out the lows. If you take out the lows and you do not get continuation to the downside and you get a massive rally, the probabilities here in bouncing to claim the highs are very, very likely, especially after a larger. I mean, we discussed that all of this was looking very, very corrective, so we were bullish in this zone. But ultimately, I just want to try and give you the best explanations here, guys, based on the directional bias, right? That's what we want when we are trading, right? What has higher probability, moving higher or moving lower? And, currently where we're sitting, I mean, you could arguably discuss that the triangle does look relatively interesting. I mean, a flat here doesn't look that great. You've got lower high right there, higher lows over here. A shallow B wave running triangle fits very, very nicely here, to be honest. Getting the price to 118k would be absolutely golden, guys. It's like the scenario that I am waiting for, because there's nothing better in being patient to see high probability. Some days of mine are boring. Most of my days are boring when we consider trading, right? I've only got in the last few weeks in this long position, but yeah, this long position has paid me, a year's worth of life, of expenses, right? In a matter of a few weeks. So I want to go in big, and I want to go in big when I have, a clear confirmation. So yeah, it can be relatively boring till we get the confirmation of the direction. So yeah, I mean, this is looking interesting for all of those sniper traders. You do have the potential of longing the 7-8, because if you do claim 112k, it will not be looking that great. You've completely broken the uptrend momentum. If you were to take out that low, in the next coming days, without reclaiming the lower high of the weekend to confirm that this is a 3-way structure, you might form a double 1-2 here. If this is not a triangle, of course, a triangle is not possible in a wave 2. So you would have to form some kind of a flat situation here, right? If you were to form a lower high, and there is ways eventually, because there is a little flat here. When we got the movement down from all-time high, you cannot see it now on the higher time frame. We can go into the lower time frame. But there is a flat scenario that you can fit in here, right? There is a flat right there that could be your wave 2. And then you have your impulsive move down and your correction for another wave 2 here, which would be a little bit too long, okay? I mean, this is actually slightly decreased in probabilities for a 1-2, 1 and 2. Your wave 2 is extremely longer than this one. So a triangle kind of fits better. A triangle here fits better for this scenario. Your second wave 2 is very, very long in time. So yeah, it decreases probability, but I mean, I like the ABC with the triangle without a doubt. It's very much leans with the highest probability at the moment, till proven otherwise, that the price could recover, because a 1-2, 1-2, this second 1-2, it is a bit long. It is a bit too long. So the triangle fits better in this zone. I mean, it gives you a chance to go heavily long at the 7-8. Well, not heavily, manage risk. You always have the potential forming another lower high, you know, from the 50% to the 7-8, from this pivot high to the pivot low. This is the risk of rejecting from this zone is there. Claiming these, you know, the lower highs will be game on, guys. Game on for the next 1 to 2 weeks, maybe days, to hit all-time high. I don't know how fast it can be, but, you know, we're ultimately looking for a massive recovery if we do hit this area, high probability scenario, which is what I am waiting for currently with the momentum. I mean, this is the thing. If the price needs to hit all-time high, if the price is going to see that sign of strength, do you think I care of not catching the low when I have a high probability scenario on my side? Absolutely not. You know, it doesn't really matter. I am very much aware of the risks that there are here of forming a lower high and continuing to the downside, just suddenly breaking down. I'll be like, okay, well, this eventually ended up, you know, in a multiple 1-2, you know, breaking down in a third wave. So, you know, I just want to make people aware that if you are long in here, the drop, you want to have a little bit of better risk management, right? When we are looking to trade in between 1 and 3% of capital, I would go with 0.5% here at the 7-8. And if you get that sign of strength in the next coming hours between today and tomorrow, just add another 1.5, right? And your entry literally goes up. But you will have a little bit of, you know, more confidence that the recovery for the next 1 to 2 weeks, or even less time than that, is highly likely. It's all about this information and this information that we have here to take their local decisions. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Smash up the like button if you like that explanation here on the price of Bitcoin. Risks, there's always risks. Fifth wave being in on the contracting diagonal, or do we get the higher low here and we start recovering in the next coming days, guys? It is without a doubt a possibility. Let's go through comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Okay, and see what's going on. What's going on here? Ethereum getting a nice little bounce. Nice little bounce on Ethereum. Let's go through comment section and we can take a look here at what's going on. We got Singularity X. Thanks for the super chat. 10 dirhams. Let's go. Could you please look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 ETH ecosystem? 𝗖𝗿𝗆. What's 𝗖𝗿𝗆? 𝗖𝗿𝗆 Cloud. 400 million. It's a mid-cap coin. Wow. Still looks maybe in an accumulation zone. 𝗖𝗿𝗆 US dollar. Let's go. Let's take a look at some altcoins for the community. Well, people are smashing up the like button, letting you understand where I am taking my next big major position for Bitcoin mainly. Bitcoin mainly is the one that I'm looking at to make absolute bank again, guys. And it will be shown on YouTube. I will be discussing in the Telegram Signals channel when I'm executing that trade, guys. I need a lot of confirmation. I need to be confident with the trades. Okay, can't just randomly say long, short. We need to be confident on our trades, guys. So, yeah, about 𝗖𝗿𝗆. It looks interesting. We're forming a very, very large range. Now the discussion here on 𝗖𝗍, I mean, there's not much to chart here. Not much to chart. Let's take a look if we do find 𝗖𝗍 layer crypto right over here. Yeah, just after the launch that we had in 2024, major collapse. And now it's really trying to detect if we can actually see a possible recovery here. Strong discussion here on 𝗖𝗍. If this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're grinding here to the upside on your wave 5, or is it an ABC? Very, very difficult here. Very, very difficult on this one. The latest move does look very, very good. The latest move to the upside on 𝗖𝗍 does look extremely good. Yeah, I think there is high probability that 𝗖𝗍 will take out the highs. Yeah, it does look pretty damn good because the correction that we had from the highs here of May of 2025 on 𝗖𝗍, you got a 3-wave move down. Awesome rally here. You know, getting very close to hit this high. This no longer becomes a bearish impulse to the downside. So as you get this correction and this automatic rally that's almost taking this lower high, you understand that this is a sideways complex corrective move. When we do take a look at this one, on the latest move up, you have a pretty clear 5-wave move to the upside. And right now we're just forming a 3-wave move down, sweeping up the 4th wave. So yeah, I mean, we're probably just hitting the 50% Fibonacci, 382, 50%. This one becomes very interesting for a bounce in this area. This one has the high chance of bouncing in this zone between $1.36 and $1.20. High chance of bouncing in this zone where it is currently. Okay. Clear correction, that's what we know. This can be counted as an impulse. You've got a bit of a 5-wave move, a bit choppy here. But what is more interesting is understanding that this is corrective. This is corrective price action. And with the latest move of the last few weeks, you have a clear impulse, which is obviously giving you that high priority of this zone bouncing at some point in the next few days, give or take 1-2 weeks. It might be a little bit more choppy, ultimately to take out the highs from last week and even these highs from May. It looks ready. It looks ready. Okay, so looks pretty good. $1.20 to $1.35, very, very possible bounce on this one. Hi Andy, can you look at 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽? Thanks a lot. Okay, we're doing super chat session, guys. Let's do a bit of super chat session here because I am getting the super chat, so I need to give them priority, legends. Andy's the best, snowboarding world. Much love to you, brother. Thank you very much for those kind words. 𝗬𝗍𝗆 the legend, guys. 𝗬𝗍𝗆 is, today has provided the scalping setups for Bitcoin and Ethereum on the lower time frames and absolutely crushed it. 𝗬𝗍𝗆 absolutely crushed it for Ethereum and for Bitcoin with that long position in the Telegram, guys, in the pro community, right? That's where myself, 𝗬𝗍𝗆, rest of the coaches, you interact. Nice community, looking for possibility, different trading setups, levels, and 𝗬𝗍𝗆 with the sniper trade confirmation here after break of structure, break of trend, looking for the highs to be taken. Absolutely golden, my man. What a nice trade. What a nice patience. Wait for wait for confirmations here. Absolute legend with the long trading setup here. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, 𝗬𝗍𝗆. If you want to join the Legends Pro community, guys, you have the Telegram down below and we'll get you in. We'll let you know the different deals okay, that you can get to join the pro community. Let's go continue here through the comment section. I had this super chat. Best TA from Andy. Much love, brother. Thanks for the super chat. I mean, not the best, but try and keep it realistic and try and make you understand where we're leaning on the probabilities. I mainly trade Bitcoin. Altcoins, I mainly have a spot bag, Ethereum, Chainlink, ICP right now, which is not doing the best, but it's just there. Anyway, let's take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 here for 𝗬𝗿𝘆𝗽 right away. Sorry about that. Got distracted with other things. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽, let's take a look at this one on the higher time frame. Zoom out. Man, what the heck's going on here? What's going on? What's going on with this one? Big pump and dumps. Big pump and dumps. There's really not much to analyze here on the chart. It must be, maybe it's a low liquid market. Let's take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 here. When I have charts like this, that there are 141 million low cap coin, big pump and dumps on this one. Let's find an exchange that is reliable on spot or futures. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. Yeah, we haven't got much information here on exchanges on this one, unfortunately, because I just wanted to take a look at the volume profile. Bybit on spot, okay. I mean, with this major pump and dump, you are consolidating here very, very nicely. I mean, it's just, there are some charts, guys, that we cannot really analyze. Preferably, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some high cap coins. When we start going and diving into some low cap coins, that they have a massive pump and dump and they consolidate, there's literally not much to analyze unless we start getting the daily levels, weekly levels, pointer controls, and, you know, analyzing a little bit of the zone. But it could be in an accumulation area for the last few weeks. I mean, this is not the best area to be excited when you're testing the highs of a range. It could be the breakout, but it could also be the fake out. Preferably you get in the lows of the range, right? Inside of the lows of a major range. At the top of the range, I would never suggest to be excited and, you know, this is going to pop out, it's going to break, because it's such a common area to trap a lot of people. Okay, so it looks good. It has the potential of breaking out, but, you know, what can we say? It's just, it's an area to be cautious, right? There's not much I can analyze on this, guys. You know, it's a pump and dump, major consolidation. If you consolidate, you preferably get in at the lows of the range and not the highs, because it has the fake out possibility, right? Could it break out from here? Well, yeah, maybe yes, right? I'm sorry, you know, it's not much that I can analyze here. Let's go with the super chats. We're getting super chat rollers on, you know, on today's stream. Absolutely amazing. Yo, Andy, could you check AXL? Okay, we can take a look at AXL. Why not? AXL. We know what we're looking for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has been covered. Need a bit of information. Be cautious of the rollover. This is what we're speculating on Bitcoin at the moment, right? You can get into small little scalps with high leverage, as 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽 pointed out in the Legends Pro in the Telegram. I'm here on YouTube to explain a little bit of the big swing opportunity. And if we were to break down, I would just remain patient till we actually form a range. Okay. There is a level for an interesting scalp, which is the 114K. You do have a weekly naked point of control, the weekly level, a daily level, okay, and a high volume node from the consolidation of the first week of the first week of August. Okay, very, very interesting level for a speculative, quick little scalp bounce of a few $100 at least, maybe $1,000 or $2,000. But I'm looking for bigger swings, as you already know. Okay, looking for those bigger swings. Let's go right away with this AXL crypto from the people in the community asking for. This is a bit more of the same scenario. Major pump and dump. Major pump and dump. I'm not sure how much. What's the market cap on this one? 333. You could consider it a mid-cap coin. Mid-low cap. Big pump and dump. It's really, if it needs to recover in the next coming weeks, it has to be bottoming out in this area, legends. All right. This doesn't have any proper market structure, right? When we talk about analyzing altcoins, sometimes it is a little bit of a waste of time if they're not a high cap crypto, if they're not a liquid cryptocurrency, very liquid, and the price chart, when you look at it, it seems like it's manipulated. Maybe the token unlocks, or people that have invested manage to sell all of their tokens, and there's so many pump and dumps and on altcoins, guys. You would say that 99% of crypto is a complete scam, and it's a way of people that have money and that have influence can hop in and then sell their tokens, right? It's just there's if it needs to recover, I mean, it's definitely losing selling pressure in this zone for the last few months. If it has to recover, this would be the zone of recovery. It's just it cannot be any more clear than this. There's two options here. Actually, finds rock bottom and recovers, or it just continues the range for many months and maybe dies off, right? But without a doubt, there's no real chart analysis to be taken on this. The same as the other crypto. So we're gonna try and fit Ethereum. All right, some high cap cryptos. Accumulation structure of AXL strong as very, very possible. Yeah, without a doubt, it can be an accumulation zone. I mean, this is possibly the zone where it's bottoming out. And in the altcoin season, almost everything rallies, right? If we are going to get that beloved altcoin season in the next coming months, where we are looking for those 10x's, right, plus, well, I mean, this is without a doubt the zone where you would be interested in buying instead of buying the hype. Okay, so it does look like an accumulation. There's no proper chart analysis on this one that can be done because it's literally a pump and dump. So there's no structure to analyze, right? Let's continue here through the comment section. Bitcoin has been covered. Yes, Ethereum, please, says Suzanne. Well, Ethereum does look very interesting. Okay, let's talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum, I think a lot of people are interested in Ethereum, right? Tell me about Ethereum and stop fucking around with these different low cap cryptos that nobody knows what's going to happen, right? Ethereum looks interesting because the movement down that we've had since we almost hit all-time high looks very corrective. Very, very corrective, okay? It does look corrective. However, it all depends on Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin, we remain Bitcoin the main leader of the market. If Bitcoin takes a dump of, 5%, you're going to get those altcoins getting dragged down very, very likely, with a high probability, no matter how bullish it looks. And, I am a little bit concerned on Ethereum. For the moment, this 3-wave structure, this 5-wave structure, cannot be a contracting diagonal or an expanding diagonal, right? The trick here on a contracting diagonal or an expanding diagonal, you get your wave 1, you put it together with your potential wave 3, and you get your wave 2, and you put it together with your potential wave 4. This would be expanding. Now we have a problem. Why this cannot be an expanding diagonal is because your wave 3 is the shortest wave. It's shorter than the movement down here, and it's shorter than your wave 5. And wave 3 can never be the shortest wave. And an impulse, in a contracting move, and an expanding move cannot be the shortest wave. So yeah, that's kind of not possible here. And an expanding move would be extremely rare anyway. It's a rare structure. When we do take a look at the possibilities of a double 1-2 here, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3 breakdown, it is possible, but it doesn't look good when we analyze the movement down on Ethereum. Now, this is why it points out that Ethereum is likely forming a corrective structure in a complex double zigzag situation here, which you would be looking for a recovery in this zone, very, very likely. And that has to do with this movement to the downside. When you get this movement down from all-time high, not all-time high, sorry, we missed it, from the highs of last week. From the high, how we moved down, we need to zoom in here. My God, we need to zoom in. Yeah, this is what is interesting on Ethereum. From the high created last week at 4,790, you got your first wave down, your second wave down, your big collapse down, and then a bounce and took out the low again. You're missing a 4-5 wave here. You're missing a 4-5 wave, which automatically, if you have a 1-2, 1-2, you want 3, 4, 5, 4 in 5, and then you can count this as an impulse. But as you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and this 1 and 2, it's a 3-wave structure. As you have this 3-wave structure down, and after this epic bounce, what we can label this as a running flat. So you got a 3-wave move down, a running flat here, and then another 3-wave move to the downside right over here, which automatically turns into a double zigzag. There's no impulsive move, expanding diagonal not possible. Your wave 3 is the shortest. To count this as an impulse for the possibility of a 1-2, 1-2, right, and break down, not possible in this wave, which eventually automatically converts it into a double zigzag complex corrective structure. So yeah, the recovery looks okay for Ethereum here. It does look pretty okay for Ethereum to recover from this zone. You're hitting that nice point of control of this range, an order block if you wish on the 4-hourly time frame or the daily time frame, right? You do have that order block zone, which is where we're holding our support. And even a swing failure pattern would be good, right? Either, this is support. This does look corrective. So you either bounce from this zone or you take out the lows and you get that, relief rally. Swing failure pattern from these lows does look interesting if they were to be hit and you were to reclaim that get back above, right? If you're breaking down, eventually you don't want to, catch the falling knife. You would just have to let it go. But if you sweep up the lows, reclaim it, then you're interested in that stop loss beneath the low of the fake out, right? And speculate on the recovery here. So a swing failure pattern becomes interesting on Ethereum without a doubt. You'd have to be aware just in case there is the potential of double 1-2 here, okay? What I do not like about Ethereum, guys, is the Bitcoin dominance and the Ethereum BTC chart. This chart does not look good at all. We've already got a massive rally throughout the last few weeks, and we talked about this zone where we could be getting a reaction on Ethereum BTC chart on a stream last week. I can't remember which one it was, but it's just pointing out that Ethereum BTC has a monthly level at the 0.382 You also have that high volume node in this area. This is exactly where the price is rejecting on the Ethereum BTC chart. High volume node from this range. You got a monthly level. Anybody that's not aware of that monthly level, we literally just rejecting at the monthly level here. Let's go to the monthly chart so you can see it. We got the monthly order block. Right, there's an order block right there on the monthly, and it's also a monthly level. Right, we got the monthly close of November and the open of December. That's exactly where we are rejecting at the moment in the last few days. And when we consider combining it with Elliott wave theory, you know, it doesn't look extremely great to get big continuation to the upside, because the big move already happened. As the big move already happened, you realize that what you expect here is choppiness, correction, maybe take out the high again, but ultimately you're looking for a little bit of a range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then ultimately get a decent pullback. That could be entering into September. So I am very, very cautious about Ethereum getting a major pullback, because we have rallied massively in the last few weeks. Okay, the big wave already happened, and a bigger wave could happen in the next coming months, but we just need to cool off from the first one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is the case, cool off a little bit. This is the moment we want to get excited for the next major rally. That's the moment that we want to go, you know, extremely excited that Ethereum is going to smash through all-time high and maybe go to $7,000-8,000, right? So when we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, also Bitcoin dominance has formed a 5-wave move to the downside. It looks pretty clear. Maybe another low, maybe a little bit of choppiness. The big move has already happened, and when you have, you know, your multiple 1-2s with the third wave down here, 4-wave zigzag, 5th wave, when you break the lows, it's losing power. Lows bounce, losing power, might hit the low again. It's losing the momentum, and when you lose that momentum, it's most of the times at wave 5, it's the end of a structure. It's the end of a major move down. I mean, we've had a major move down in the last, July and part of August. When you slowly break down the lows and you do not get follow through, it is a clear sign that it's going to reverse at some point very, very soon, right? Give or take maybe a few days. You might claim the low again. You get altcoins getting a little rally as it goes down. But this is very, very common price action to start, to be aware of a reversal on the Bitcoin dominance, to only get a major leg down later on throughout the end of the year, guys. Because I do think that the Bitcoin dominance, this would be a wave 1, wave 2, and we are looking for that explosive move to the downside on the Bitcoin dominance in a wave 3 to really collapse like 10%, 15% in a matter of a couple of weeks, right? This is what happened on the previous cycles, right? Where you are going to see the dominance at some point completely collapse, and it just takes a few weeks, guys. It collapses down, right? It really, really drops down, and it's a matter of a few weeks that it does so. I do expect this kind of event to happen before the end of the year at some point. But right now we got our first leg to the downside, which is showing exhaustion. It's showing signs of exhaustion to get a relief rally. I mean, that's my point of view anyway. You can, you do you, guys. Just want the people to be aware of that. 100x short, says Phantom. Yeah. Andy, can you take a look at W? Why doesn't this one break out? Let's take a look at W here from my man 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍. Why not, legends? 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍, an absolute legend that's been following the channel. W, what is W? W US dollar. This wormhole, right? Wormhole. yeah, apparently this one is a good project, apparently. Why isn't this one breaking out? Let's take a look at Wormhole on the higher time frame. And for people that are joining the stream right now, that are subscribing, we focus on Bitcoin. I explain what I need to see for Bitcoin, guys. There is the risk of going to lower prices. If it is going to be bullish, we need to hit some levels. It is all explained in the first 30 minutes of the stream for anybody that's joining. And, you know, we're just really doing a bit of Q&A and looking at some altcoins right now. Don't worry. If you're here for Bitcoin, we explain what we need to see for Bitcoin to remain bullish. And if we do not claim these levels in an impulsive move, we're looking for a possible breakdown. Okay. So yeah, you can take a look at that at the first 30 minutes of the stream, guys. I'm in no big position just yet. The big position, the profits were taken at all-time high as per the plan of the last few weeks. And I missed the short position. I'm interested in getting into a long, but I need confirmation, and it is explained at the beginning of the stream. If we go to lower levels, I missed the short position. It doesn't matter. We'll look for some other positions. I'm not shorting here eventually right now here at this zone, just giving the bulls a chance for the recovery, okay? If you are interested in trading, guys, check out Phemex. Phemex has got an awesome deal for you with the link down below, okay? 20% cashback up to $1,000, and you get Solana, okay, as reward as you're trading, guys. As you're trading, you do get rewards in Solana, which is absolutely awesome when you sign up with the link down below, okay? It is the 5th link down below for Phemex. Take a look at Phemex because you can earn Solana if you're a Solana fan while you're trading. Let's go right away through the wormhole chart because my man 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍 is saying that why isn't it breaking out? Why isn't it breaking out? Oof. I mean, we need to zoom out on this one. My goodness, this one took a massive hit. Wow. Yeah, we formed a little bit of a wedgie scenario here. We lost the higher low support wedgie structure. I mean, yeah, this one has taken the tank throughout the first, you know, since the high here. 2025 has not been playing out nicely for this one. I mean, we cannot analyze anything on this. This one, since the launch of 2024, it just started tanking. There's nothing to analyze on this, okay? There's really nothing. There's no proper structure. It's downtrending. You can have the wishful thinking that this is the accumulation zone. It's been trading in this area below 10 cents for many months. Wormhole. I did hear that this one is a good project somewhere. I mean, yeah, I have no research on this on the fundamentals, but the chart, this could be an accumulation area, okay, in between 5 cents and 10 cents. So there's really not much to analyze on this one. So yeah, why are we looking at altcoins when we are in a correction? Very true. That's very true. Shorting everything was the play last few days, says 𝗖𝗵𝗽𝗍. Absolutely. It was really. I missed on the Bitcoin short based on the speculation that we could have been forming, you know, this kind of movement or an ABC flat here. It doesn't really matter when you have a few scenarios that point out that you are very likely going to correct and not break out successfully all-time high. I mean, the reasons for my long position was being confident that we are unlikely going to break below the 115K successfully, right? We did get a breakdown a little bit, but ultimately I was not looking for follow through. And, you know, just last week we were talking about, guys, we need to get some kind of a pullback when we analyze this momentum that we had to the upside. And if we do hit all-time high, I do not expect follow through, because the multiple 1-2 setup was low probability based on this wave up. The third wave 1 and 2 was the biggest wave, and you literally don't give that priority. So yeah, whoever shorted the double top of all-time high, guys, congratulations. And I would maintain some of that short. I would definitely maintain some of that short. If I had a short position from, the highs, I mean, the drop was very aggressive throughout, last Thursday morning, right? It just really got a major move down. And entering a short position in these shallow pullbacks throughout the weekend is just really not an option for me. So the best short, without a doubt, was the double top, which was around about 1 a.m. my time. Eventually I was sleeping, and you could have taken it into consideration and understanding that it could have been the local top of this ascending contracting diagonal. And eventually this has the potential, not only in breaking down 112k, but even coming down to the low 100k levels. So yeah, it's an epic short that I would eventually take profit based on the bullish case. You could form a higher low in this zone, but it's one of those that I would maintain. It could, and if you're patient, you hold 20-30% of the trade, in a couple of weeks you could maximize profits based on the bearish case, which gives you a projection of coming down to the 382 Fibonacci, the 50% Fibonacci from the pivot low to the pivot high. And that's taking you down to the low 100k levels. Okay, I kind of had a minimum target if this were to be the end of this ascending contracting diagonal, right? You were literally looking for a larger pullback for the next coming weeks. So it's kind of worth holding some of that short, without a doubt. If you did catch the double top, take profits. But if I was in that trade, I would definitely be happy to maintain that short, especially for hedge against long positions that I would be interested in looking for. And I would ultimately close that. If I had that trade, I would close it once we hit this pivot. If we hit this pivot and we correct down, I would already be exiting that short based on the probabilities that this would be looking like a 3-wave structure. This would be automatically changing for the impulsive move, which would be this one right over here. Okay. And it would be looking for new all-time highs to happen in the next coming weeks after that. So yeah, let's go through the comment section, continue here with the legends, see what's going on. Not much here to discuss, guys. I'm just waiting patiently for either a recovery in a 5-wave structure to claim this high. If that is not going to happen, I am expecting lower. If this pivot is hit, I would instantly flip very bullish, and I would be looking for some epic long positions that will be provided eventually. I would just say, guys, I'm long here. I'm entering the long. This is my stop loss. This is how much I'm risking in the pro or in the signals channel. Andy, ADA looks bullish. Will it hold 082, says Singularity X. Let's take a look at ADA. Why not? ADA looks bullish. Will it hold? Yeah, I mean, ADA... ADA does look very bullish. We were analyzing ADA a few weeks ago, that this does look very corrective. We got the first major rally here that looked very impulsive. Very impulsive move. You got 2 1-2s. 1 2 1 2, right? Two higher highs, 2 higher lows. Third wave, and now you want 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows, right? Third after the third wave, which is 4 5 4 5. So a nice solid impulse here, counting all of the waves. and this being the corrective three-wave structure. Right now on the lower time frame here for ADA, yeah, if this is going to be a third wave, 1 2 1 2 3, second 1 2 is a little bit large in timing. You really want to hold, which is holding the 50% Fibonacci. The moment you get down to the golden pocket, you invalidate the possible wave 4 here, and things can get a little bit messy. So 50% is the one that, I mean, it is bouncing. It's the one that needs to bounce to try and label a wave 4 here and take out the highs again. So you are talking about, will it hold the 82? It needs to hold above the golden pocket, which is 85, preferably here. If you're considering still this an unfinished wave to the upside. So yeah, why not? Needs to hold. Maybe an SFP from the lows here would be a pretty decent long. Sweep up that low here. That would be a pretty decent long, right? How many times? It is a liquidity game at the end of the day, guys. So if you do get a major rally, you get a movement down and you start, bouncing here, and then you roll in a three-wave structure, perfect. You roll down. If you claim this low, I mean, this is a good zone to look for a rally. And, hopefully this rally does continue throughout the next coming days. But, how many times do we hit a major high or low after a big move and get the bounce? I mean, and this would be just attempting to break the 50% Fibonacci, ultimately holding. Yeah, it would be a good level to enter along, at least for a little bounce of a move of, 5%, maybe even more than that. I would be aware here of where the point of control is. Just for a nice little scalp. Yeah, you're at the value area low here at the moment. So yeah, if it's a little scalp, basically. If you sweep up the low, you're looking for value area low, point of control to get resistance. I mean, if you break that above, then absolutely wonderful. You maintain that long, but this is a take profit zone without a doubt, just based on the resistance. Nice swing failure pattern from this low is a great trading option. So setting some alerts here would be the ideal thing on ADA. Let's go right away, continue through the comment section. I've set some alerts there myself. Bitcoin just holding. Bitcoin is holding the 7/8 Fibonacci. We got lots of levels at 114K. We got a weekly level. We got a daily level. We got a high volume node from this consolidation. It is a big zone, big level. Okay. And the 7/8 Fibonacci for the bulls to hold on tight. 7/8 just touched a few hours ago. Big zone for Bitcoin. Big zone for Bitcoin to confirm that this, will it manage to be an ABC movement with a triangle in your B wave? Moment of truth. For those speculators out there that want to trade the support, or then you have more conservative traders such as myself that waits for confirmation and signs of strength, which would be literally getting that movement up, confirming that this third wave has lost the momentum, and that what we're looking at here is a new rally to take all-time high. But we need our first leg up, guys. We need our first leg up, just like we got our first leg up here. And this is where we were very bullish, looking for the local signs of strength, take out this high. If we break above it, game on, guys. We go to higher levels, right? So let's see if we do get that in the next coming days for Bitcoin. If not, we go down to lower levels. It could be the confirmation of that contracting diagonal that has taken out all-time high on that fifth wave. And it's going to be game over, guys. For the next coming weeks, we could be heading down to the low 100k levels. It is a possibility. So all of those people that are only long, only bullish, and looking for longs here, be aware this is a very, very common area for all of those people that are using too much leverage and too much capital to get wrecked. Okay, believing that it's going to bounce. It's a dangerous, dangerous area. The price could drop down another extra $10,000. And I do not want the people to get burned. I want them to be responsible. If you're short, as mentioned, then obviously holding some of that short position is, from all-time high. Absolutely wonderful. It's definitely worth holding some of that position without a doubt. Okay. We're going to 3+ at least. We're going to 3+. If we were you, I'd wait for the big Ethereum pullback and add it to my long and on Aero at the time, said 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍. Yeah. The thing about Ethereum is, and altcoins, is the Bitcoin dominance, guys. Bitcoin dominance, it's losing momentum. The big wave happened throughout July. The momentum is getting lost here. As you lose the lows, it's getting instant bounces. It's getting instant bounces. The big move already happened, and in a impulse, the big move happens most of the times in the third wave, and your fifth wave gets choppy. It gets choppy till it gets an epic rally, right? At some point. So this is the danger right now. I mean, in altcoins, because Bitcoin's dropping, altcoins are taking a hit, except for Chainlink and maybe another few other ones. But wow, when this bounce happens, then, we're probably going to get 10-20% extra drops on altcoins, which is not going to be fun, guys. It's not going to be fun. But ultimately, I would see it as the ultimate opportunity before, things get crazy to the end of the year, October, November, which I do expect the big movements on altcoins to happen, because this is only your first leg down on the Bitcoin dominance. It's only your first leg down. We are, and it's a confirmed impulsive move. So yeah, we are looking for another extra big drop later on in the year, which is going to make, that major altcoin season to follow through, right? But I think a lot of people are just waiting for big epic gains, right? A lot of people, we've had an altcoin season. Ethereum's done a 3x almost since the lows of April, right? I mean, it has got a major rally. It's a 3x in a matter of 3-4 months. But we are greedy by nature, right? I mean, come on. Ethereum got an awesome rally. This is a big season. April lows 1,500, making a 3x. 3x in 3 months, guys. This is insane. 4 months if you wish. This is epic rally. So, pullback and a movement down is very much a possibility. And when you take a look at Ethereum BTC chart and the Bitcoin dominance, it kind of needs to happen. Bitcoin BTC dominance bottoming out. It is bottoming out activity here. So just be aware of some decent pullbacks on some altcoins to happen in the next few weeks, which would only bring another opportunity before the next big major rally. That's my opinion, of course, guys. Ethereum BTC chart hitting a massive resistance after forming a very strong impulsive move throughout June, July, and August, right? Very, very big, since April, basically. May. Big move with no pullbacks. And you're hitting that crucial resistance. And, you're either in the third wave and you get the fourth wave pullback and then take out the highs, or you already formed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and you get a much larger pullback before rallying throughout the end of the year. Major topping signals, okay, on Ethereum BTC. bottoming signals on the Bitcoin dominance. You might take out the low again. Okay, this does not mean that we are going to reverse from here right now, but just so you understand that when you take out the lows after a big move down, you're unsuccessfully following through. Low, big bounce. Movement down, big bounce. You're starting to consolidate and lose the momentum as you take out the lows. It is wedging out here, which is very, very common for a fifth wave before you get the relief rally. So short-term warning signs, only short-term, guys. Stay safe with your epic swing long positions. Devil here, Matthew here, all are here. Much love. Bitcoin dominance uptrend is not quite over. Bitcoin dominance uptrend is not quite over. Yeah, when we do zoom out, subs, that is not Bitcoin. Much love. 100k imminent. 100k subs. Yes, my man 𝗞𝗐𝗿. Much love to you, brother, guys. If you don't know who 𝗞𝗐𝗿 is, make sure to go and check him out. He does produce awesome content, okay, on YouTube about crypto, trading, all sorts, guys. Make sure to go and check him out. Subscribe to his channel here. He's an absolute legend, okay? Crypto by 𝗞𝗐𝗿, CBM. Go and check him out. Yeah, about this Bitcoin dominance uptrend. I mean, also, when you do zoom out on the higher time frame, I mean, it's the first major move down that we've had in the last few years. It's the first biggest move down that we've had. We actually closed an engulfing candle, so it's a pretty good sign that, you know, the weakness is there. But a relief rally, in my opinion, is imminent at some point here. A relief rally based on this movement down, but I do see a chance that the Bitcoin dominance has probably topped out at 66%. I am looking for a lower high possibility here on the Bitcoin dominance, based on this movement down in an impulse. We have closed, I think it's a weekly or a monthly engulfing candle. Not too sure if it was I remember seeing a big, I think it's the monthly candle. It's the first big major engulfing candle that we've had on the Bitcoin dominance. And that's a good sign. That's always a good sign, right? When you're uptrending on the monthly, right, and you form an engulfing candle, it's always a good sign. But the red candle closes beneath the start of the monthly, and in this case we did get continuation down. We didn't have any major good engulfing candles here. Well, there was one ever so slightly there. It was the only one. Small little one right over here. But this one that we created was pretty nasty. Which is eventually giving you, you know, the high chance that after a bounce, you know, I would be looking for a rollover here on the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin maintaining the 115k zone. I've explained the different scenarios, what needs to play out for the bullish case. For the bearish case, we break down. I'm not interested in catching the lows. I want confirmation of strength, and I will be entering that trading position once I get the confirmations, guys. I need to see confirmations on the chart. We got a super chat here. Devil also in the live stream, almost at 100k subs. Yes, make sure to subscribe. We are going to be hitting that this week, potentially this week. We are hitting 100k. Maybe we are just above 99.9k right now. So yeah, it's probably going to happen. Okay, it's probably going to happen this week before the end of the week. I made 5k with your guidance. So here's 0.2%. Can you analyze aero patterns and possible pullback resistance? Absolutely, my man. Eugene, much love to you. Absolutely awesome. Made 5k with your guidance. That is insane. Absolute legend. I hope you took profit, says Suzanne. Absolute legend. Let's take a look at this one, aero. Aerodrome. Yeah, I mean, Aerodrome, we were talking about that multiple 1-2, right? Which got an epic breakout. Okay, you made 5K out of this prediction, which was a couple of weeks ago. There were two scenarios to get into a trade here. And sometimes you need to just pull the trigger on either the trend breakout or on the higher low here, understanding that this higher low could be taken, but you just have to get into that liquidity grab. Just get in, right? And I think the guidance was based on a live stream a few weeks ago on Aerodrome, where we were looking at a multiple 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, or a running flat here. It doesn't matter. And all of this is 1-2, 1-2, but ultimately looking for a third wave breakout, which, you know, played out beautifully. I mean, this did pump last week. I don't know, what is it? Yeah, almost 80% from that breakout from the, you know, prediction. And we always give a plan B, right? You do have a plan B. You know, if you want to long the trend breakout, if it turns into a fake out and claims the lows, you know, I think there's high probability that you are going to swing failure pattern from the lows here, liquidity grab, and then boom, 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 take out the high. So anyway, this played out. We did miss the low. We formed a higher low, trend breakout, take out the highs, look for an explosive move. Your question right now, after this movement that we were talking about just a few weeks ago, pullback zone. What is interesting here for a pullback? Well, what we need to take is if the momentum is going to continue with a double 1-2, 3, we're looking for 4-5, 4-5. We're looking for more upside momentum to happen on this one. And I do think that the pullback in a wave 4 has not happened yet, just because your second wave 1s and 2s, right, are still very long in time, and fourth waves are usually long and choppy. So it might take 1 or 2 weeks to correct here on Aerodrome before getting the breakout and take out the highs again. Usually wave 4s are longer in time than wave 2s. So with that theory, well, the levels of support that need to hold is from the pivot low of the wave 2 is the 382 to the 50% Fibonacci from the lows to the highs. We'll go with this second 1 and 2. I mean, this could be a running flat without a doubt. It doesn't matter. It's not too much difference from this pivot. Okay, so yeah, we would go with this pivot low and the 50% to the 382. And I would not consider this a wave 4 because it's been too quick in time. And usually wave 4s, you know, you want at least the same timing as this. At least the same and even longer. So it could take 1 to 2 weeks to develop. But ultimately, if the price comes down to the 382 50% Fibonacci in between 120 and 110, that is the zone of interest for your long position that could take 1 to 2 weeks. Or, you know, I wouldn't expect a V shape. This is the 4 hourly time frame. It could consolidate, it could get choppy, but I would ultimately wait for this area, which has to be the level to bounce, considering a wave 4. If you have a 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, right? 4, 5, up we go to claim the highs and higher. So remain patient. The explosive move has happened. It's just getting choppy. The pullback will happen at some stage, okay? The large consolidation range will happen at some point, okay? Just remain patient. And the 50% to the 382 is where you want that bounce, where you want this zone to hold. I mean, you do have this higher low right there at $1.10, which would be an epic swing failure pattern if it does get down there, you know, to get into a long. Small position in this zone. If you do take out the low in your swing failure pattern, I would add to that position another extra percent, right? Stop loss beneath the golden pocket. You don't want to overlap this pivot. You're looking for a higher low and take out the highs you know, it might take a few weeks. This is the 4-hourly time frame, so it could take a bit of time to develop. I mean, it was relatively quick. We only analyzed this, and I think the next day or 2 days later, it just broke out. So congratulations on you on catching that long position. I think it was you that asked for Aerodrome. Much love to you, brother. I'm glad that you made some profits on that. Anyway, let's go right away. Dylan Walker, appreciate the analysis. Much love to you, Dylan. We'll be looking for this. Okay. I took profits at break even and a break even trade. Absolutely awesome. Not sure if you're in the pro community. Anyway, legends, much love to everybody. Gracias, tío. I catch the short on local top. Eugene C. Dylan, you're safe. Catch the short on the local top. Much love to everybody. I've explained what I need to see on the price of Bitcoin to get into my next big swing trade position to make another $100,000. That's going to be the game. That's going to be the aim goal, okay? Make another 100K. That could be in the next coming weeks, depending if we reclaim some levels. I will be more confident in getting into another new trade. Let's see if we can get 100K before the end of August. That would be absolutely awesome. Okay, on profits. Remember, if you are interested in trading, Bluffin has an awesome bonus, okay, down below in the description for the whales. Okay, if you deposit, you get 10% cash back on your deposit for your trading, okay, up to 3,000. If you deposit 30K, you're getting $3,000 on top of that. Take advantage. This will increase your capital. And for the whales out there, if you deposit more than 50K, you're getting VIP2, which is decreasing your fees massively, guys. You got Bluffin on the second link down below in the description, okay? And also Phemex. Phemex is awesome. You got 20% cash back. You earn Solana, okay, as you trade, for all of those Solana fans when you sign up with the link down below. Much love to everybody. If you want more updates, you got the Legends Pro. You got also the Signals channel. Legends Pro is where you have a lot of activity, okay? In the Telegram, Devil pointed out a nice Ethereum and Bitcoin scalp long position, okay? You have the first link down below to join the Telegram to get more info on that if you want more updates. Thank you very much. The first 30 minutes is mainly Bitcoin. Thank you for joining and subscribing, and I'll see you tomorrow, legends.